Welcome again to Cottage Talk. I am Russ Goldman. This is a very special episode of Cottage Talk. It is entitled 5 Reasons Why I Still Believe Fulham Will Finish 7th. Now, you're probably seeing the title or listening to this thinking Russ must be crazy. I'm not crazy. I truly believe it, and I'm going to make my argument with these 5 reasons coming up. Before the season began, I made a prediction for 7th. I'm not backing down from that prediction. I'm doubling down. I still believe Fulham will finish 7th. I'm going to give you the reasons coming up. A bad loss does not change my mind on this. It was a very bad loss today. Absolutely. The situation with Mitro looks bad on the face of it. The loss looks bad on the face of it. But I'm going to give you my reasons why I actually think it shows me Fulham are going to finish 7th. I'm going to tell it to you in just a few minutes. Before I do that, as always, please do subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. And just a reminder, Cottage Talk is part of the talkSPORT fan network. Okay, so without further ado, let's start. Before I give you my 5 reasons, I first want to say this, and I tweeted this out, and I'm going to say it again. I got this one wrong with Alexander Mitrovic. In the presser after Fulham's loss to Brentford, it was revealed by Marco that Mitro is on his way to Riyadh to play for the Saudi club Al Hilal. Now, this is disappointing news. Very disappointing news. I wanted Fulham to not buckle to the pressure. You could say that they did, but they apparently got a good fee for it. Reportedly, I've seen reports of 46 million up to 50 million pounds. That's a good amount of money for Alexander Mitrovic. But I got this one wrong. I said on Fulhamish and I said on Cottage Talk, I made a prediction that they would not sell Mitrovic, but they did. They did. So I'm here now on my show to say I'm wrong. I got this one wrong. The question is, where do we go from here? And I think we have an opportunity to go somewhere that I truly believe from the beginning that I predicted. And I'm going to make that argument. But as we talk about Mitro, what disappoints me about the situation is how Mitro left. Because apparently he forced his way out. So I don't like a player that forces his way out. I understand the opportunity that he had to play for Al Hilal. Great opportunity. But the way I was brought up is you honor a contract. And when you force your way out, you're putting yourself above a lot of people. He did that. He was being selfish. I understand that. But Fulham come first. So in the end, even though I was thinking, I don't want the Cons to sell Mitro, in the end, they were forced to sell Mitro. They held out for as long as they could. They got the price that, or close to the price that they wanted. So in a way, not that I agree with it, but I guess I understand why it came to this. When a player does this, when he makes it so difficult for you and forces his way out, it makes it hard to keep him at your club. So the Cons got as much as they thought that they could get, and they sold Mitro to Al Hilal. And I'll just say this, I do not like the way Mitro left, and there are fans out there that will say, best of luck to Mitro. He'll always be a Fulham legend. Well, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm actually going to say, Alexander Mitrovic, what you did for Fulham, I will always remember. I will respect what you gave Fulham Football Club. It was a two-way street. Fulham gave you a great deal as well. But you're dead to me, and I'll leave it at that. The way you left, you're dead to me. We move on. I'm not going to wish you best of luck. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. That's just the way I look at it. That's the way I am. You're gone. That's fine. We move on, and you move on. So enough of talking about that. But what's interesting here is that I did not want Fulham to be in this situation that they were forced to do this, but now that they are, they now actually have an interesting opportunity to reshape Fulham for this year and maybe for a couple of years to come. With that money, can really give them an opportunity to change Fulham. Now, you could say that they could just buy a striker for that, maybe they will. But the opportunity here is for them to find not just a striker, but to take this opportunity that Mitro has given you to not just invest the money from the sale, but invest more money and reshape Fulham for years to come. They can do that. Take this as an opportunity to do the things you really want to do. And I'm not a big gambler, but I think at this point, in my opinion, it's time to take some risks, bring in some players that can change Fulham. And let's hope it works. I don't like Fulham to be compared with Brighton Hove Albion, but here's something that they would be doing at this point. Fulham do not have a ready-made player to take the place of Mitro. They need to get it right. They need to find that player. But not only that, take this as an opportunity to upgrade your central midfield, find more fullbacks, find more wingers, upgrade wherever you need. Don't just invest that $50 million. Spend more money. I believe you will have the room to really spend money. There's still an opportunity here. There's a chance before the window shuts for Fulham to reshape for years to come. And I hope they take it. And I'm going to be talking about that in my 5 reasons why. Let's start with number 5. Again, I'm not going to be discussing the loss for Fulham, the 3-0 loss in this show. Not doing that. But I will just talk about the loss in general. Number 5, a very bad loss can galvanize a team to bounce back. Now, we've seen this under Marco Silva time and time again. When they've had a bad loss against Newcastle, they bounced back. They did that throughout the season last season. So this is an opportunity for them to bounce back. Now, we know who they have coming up. They have Man City and Arsenal coming up. So it is unlikely that they will beat either of these clubs, probably not get a point. But you can improve as a club during this time period. You can bounce back. You can show that you are ready to go. And I'm telling you, these next 2 weeks, they might be losses. They're probably going to be losses. But they can take this bad loss and improve as a team and get ready for the matches that will define Fulham. They will not be defined by Arsenal, Manchester City, and they won't be defined by Brentford in the end. They won't. This is a bad loss, just like the Newcastle United loss at home last season. I know it hurts because who the opponent was, but you move on. And I'm telling you, a loss like this, especially against who it was, can galvanize the team to come together. And that's going to lead to number 4. Now, the situation with Mitro actually reminds me of a situation with my own New England Patriots back in 2003, 20 years ago. The head coach, Bill Belichick, cut one of their best players before the season began. His name was Lawyer Malloy. The irony here is that after they cut Lawyer Malloy, the Patriots' first game was against the Buffalo Bills. Who does Lawyer Malloy sign with but the Buffalo Bills? And the Patriots lost 31-0 to the Buffalo Bills. Terrible loss. But the thing about it was, after that loss, it actually brought the team together. Mitro leaving the way he left. And again, I don't know if the players knew before the match or even during the match that he was leaving. But if they did, it could have affected them in this match. But here it is. Now he's gone. It's about them. And this can bring a team together. A player like this leaving can bring the group together. I truly believe that. I've seen it too many times. And I see this as a major reason why I think Fulham can finish 7th. And I'm not changing my mind on it because I think Fulham are going to come together. Number 5 and number 4 are very strong reasons why I feel that way. So number 3, let's move on to number 3. Fulham have time to integrate and establish their best starting 11. Like I said, the transfer window has not closed yet. We're still integrating Calvin Bassey, Raul Jimenez, Adama Traore. Players are still coming in the door, and they're going to be adding more players. Like I mentioned, look who your next 2 opponents are. It's not about beating those opponents. It's about integrating these players, finding your best starting 11 and moving forward. And I'm hoping by the time the window closes, Marco Silva has his best starting 11 and Fulham season can really take off from there. And I believe it can. The opportunity is still there. Players that have just come through the door, and then, of course, players that will be coming through the door. And yes, there will be several players coming through the door. And then Marco will have his opportunity to have his best starting 11. He doesn't have it right now. He absolutely does not have it. So to judge a team after a bad loss who didn't start João Palhinha, come on. Comes on at the end of the match. That wasn't Fulham's best team today. They're not at their best yet. They're still coming together. They need time to come together. Do I wish they did it before? Absolutely. But we're talking 2 matches in. After the next 2 matches, only 4 matches in. There is still time for me to be right. So I'm not changing my mind. I'm absolutely not changing my mind. They beat Everton. People seem to forget about that. They beat Everton. They're not dead and buried yet after 2 matches. Sorry. They're not. I'm still believing that Fulham were going to finish 7th. I'm not changing my mind on it. I'm not backing down. Not backing down at all. Someone tweeted to me asking me if I was changing my mind. And here's your answer. Hell no. Not changing my mind. Number 2, the money from Mitro gives Fulham an opportunity to reshape Fulham. We already talked about this. This is huge. This is a huge sum of money. Can they spend it all on one player? Potentially. But I'm thinking that this can be just part of the puzzle of money spent to bring in several players. You can still get it for one player on a striker, but they should be spending more money. FFP, everything I've read, they are in really good shape to spend money. They should be spending money now. And I think that they will be, because I hate to say it, let's make a deal, Tony Khan. It is at the end of the window where he does a lot of this. Now, I am challenging Tony, Alistair, and Shahid to get out of your comfort zone and to not just make good deals and to gamble a little bit, to take some risk. It's time to take some risk. I know I've said it in the past that I did not want them to gamble too much. I was worried about bringing in a player like Balogun because it's a gamble. Well, they don't have much of a choice right now. I think they have to gamble. And hopefully they get it right. And if they get it right, I'm going to be right. So Fulham need to take some chances, and they need to spend the money, and they need to back the manager. Because in the end, Fulham will go nowhere without the backing of Marco Silva. So I'm basically asking the Khans, Alistair McIntosh, everyone at the board, back your manager, get him the players that he needs, spend the money. Please spend the money. Put Fulham where you want to perform. You have this opportunity. You were just given somewhere between 46 to 50 million pounds. That gives you this chance to reshape Fulham. Please take advantage of it. Okay. Coming up next to end this episode of Cottage Talk, I'm going to give you my number 1 reason why I still believe Fulham will finish 7th. Okay, to end this episode of Cottage Talk, I think it's pretty easy to figure out what number 1 is. And number 1 is Fulham still have Marco Silva as their head coach. They do. They absolutely do. Now, he might not be happy right now because Mitro left. He might not be happy at Mitro either. So he might be an upset manager right now. But what's interesting here is I truly believe if the Khans do their job and give Marco the players he needs, he will be a happy camper and it'll be water under the bridge because they have the coach that can put all of his players in the best position to succeed. He just needs the players. We have the coach. He needs the players. So as long as Marco Silva is Fulham's head coach, I truly believe Fulham will fight for Europe. I know that's what he wants. I truly believe I shouldn't say I know. I truly believe that's what he wants. I think he wants even higher than just getting into Europe. I think the Cons do as well. Here's your opportunity to take a giant step forward with the money you now have available to you and add money to it to reshape Fulham and back the manager. I put this on Tony Khan, Shahid Khan, and Alistair, like I mentioned before. It's time to get it done, back the manager, because you still have Marco Silva, but you need to back him or he could walk. None of us want that. This all falls apart if Marco walks. That's why the end of the transfer window is crucial. That Fulham get the players Marco wants, or he could leave. I'm going to say that right now. So there's a lot on the line here. But if everything comes through the way that I hope it does, I could be right. And I still think I'm going to be right. Because I think Fulham still have a very good chance of being seventh. Think I'm crazy all you want. I'm not changing my mind. I'm still going for it. Anyways, well, that's going to do it for this episode of Cottage Talk. As always, please do subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. It does help other Fulham supporters find us. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. My name is Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Cottage Talk, part of the talkSPORT Fan Network.